My name is Dr. Emma Bowers, and I am a biomedical scientist turned entrepreneur. I founded my company LabPair to address a lot of the problems and pain points that I've encountered over my 13 years of scientific research. The most straightforward way to think about LabPair is that it's a Craigslist eHarmony hybrid for scientists, but the seemingly simple idea is going to revolutionize the way that scientific research is done. So what exactly are the problems and pains I'm talking about? In a word, publication pressure. As a scientist, your productivity and your competency are measured by the quantity and quality of your research publications. But unfortunately, publishing in respected scientific journals is actually kind of hard. And that's due to a lack of funding for laboratories, intense competition, and also an emphasis on sexy results to get into the top journals. This creates a lot of pain, both in the form of publication pressure, which compromises the validity of science, and also mental health. For example, 53% of scientists struggle with work-related depression and anxiety, and 36% of PhD students sought mental health treatment from work-related stress. The LabPair solution to publication pressure is actually quite simple. As a scientist, oftentimes you use only a small amount of your resources, aka the tip of the iceberg, for your publications. LabPair is going to help scientists use all their resources through a process we call publication-driven matchmaking. In this process, we take people who have extra underutilized resources and pair them with people who need those resources so that both people get an easy publication. What are these underutilized resources? We've divided them into data, samples, and skills. Through our I-Corps customer discovery interviews and my personal experience, we know that on average, scientists publish less than 50% of their publishable data. The typical research lab has hundreds to thousands of extra unused samples per lab that often get thrown away. And scientists spend a lot of time and money acquiring specialized skills and expertise that they use for relatively few projects. So how do we turn this into a business? LabPair is a web-based application that serves a two-sided marketplace for sellers and buyers of underutilized scientific resources. That's just figurative language. Nobody's buying and selling anything. LabPair makes money through monthly subscriptions and also business-to-business inputs from biotech and biological supply companies. Currently, there are no other apps on the market that fulfill this function. The LabPair software functions like Craigslist in that users can create and search posts related to data, samples, and skills. The LabPair software collects information that potential collaborators would want to know. For example, the authors that would be on the paper, study design, methods, and sample information. Like Ancestry.com, you can see this information, but to unlock the identity of individuals, you need a subscription. And like eHarmony, we use this information to pair people up so that they can basically find great matches. Now, because science works the same across disciplines, this system's going to work from genetics to geology. Our global value propositions are this: if you use LabPair, you're going to save time and money. It's going to promote scientific integrity, improve mental health, and result in a more prosperous career. However, this doesn't quite encapsulate all of the value that we can offer researchers, which are sort of on a researcher by researcher basis. And so here are some examples from our upcoming media blitz. So because of COVID, no conferences, no meetings. That's normally how you meet collaborators. Well, now it's no problem. Now you can find collaborators in your pajamas. If you're having technical problems, now you can easily find an expert to help you. And if your lab is filled with experts but short on funding, you can use LabPair to advertise your lab's fee for service. When your sampling area is unlimited, so is your research. And now you can use LabPair to find clinical samples to increase the relevance and impact of your research. There are 7.8 million global researchers, but we are targeting at first, the 621,000 US researchers in apt fields. These can be broken down into PIs or principal investigators who run the labs and the postdocs and students who work for them. These individuals are going to be our evangelists, as the postdocs and students tend to have highest levels of publication stress, and they're young, tech-savvy, open-minded, and collaborative. We're going to code the app this spring. We have 2 short beta testing phases, and we're going to have a full launch this winter. Currently, LabPair is myself and my software developer, John Tomlin. And I also have great support from Flynn and UACI. And I really want to emphasize LabPair's revolutionary social mission, which we're going to be able to really help animal welfare, STEM education, resource equity in STEM, and minimize STEM's environmental footprint. Thank you very much.